If we were to go back, if I were to take you back 10 years, 15 years back, those of you guys who are friends with me today will have to rethink your friendship with me. To be honest, a lot of us, the best thing we can do is to just keep quiet. Because when we start to share our testimonies, we may lose friends or people who have some level of respect for some of us. So some of us just got to be quiet, because when we start to explain to people who got lots and lots of respect for us, when they hear our stories, I tell people sometimes is what you see now and what you love now, what you admire now, what you can do without now. It would never, if you knew that thing before it became what you love now and cherish now and adore, and you can go a day without calling or spending time, if you knew that thing before what you have now, you would never want to spend that time you spending right now with this thing. When someone would go back and think about the names that we're called, we were called because of the condition that some of us came from to be where we are. If you hear some of us, our stories, you would not love some of us today. You would not even want to have us around as a company today. Look, if some of us would just sit down and just give you a synopsis of who we were, where we came from, you will start to hold tight onto your pockets. You will start to hold tight onto your jewelry, your homes. You will start to be very mindful and act like a detective now when we around, because the truth of who we really were. I admire people who got some past lifestyle that they live that is not reflected now in their present situation now. And they will have to tell you that this is how they used to live for you to believe it. You will not believe that they ever came from that place. From that place that, have you been around people, or have you had associates and friends who talked about places that they would never be in their life, and you say to yourself, I'm glad that girl, don't start, man. Boy, don't stop with me right now, man. You know what I mean? You get some of our friends who never been where we came from. When you hear them talk, they'd be like, I would never, ever, ever, ever befriend anyone who came from that place. You say to yourself, I'm from that place. You may not want to say it to them, because now you don't want to lose that friendship. Now did not see you like your past. See, a lot of us do not carry on our past, and that's a unique thing, because if some of us want to carry on our past life or where we came from to be where we are, the friends that we have today will not be the friends that we have today. The jobs that we have today, they will have to rethink whether they're going to hire us or not. If some of us will open our mouth and talk and really, really, really open our mouth and express who we are, the things that flourish around now will not flourish around. The opportunities that we see now that just be forward and just right in front of us will not be there. Will not be there. The friends that want to become friends with us will not be friends. If someone will just say, hold up, can I just give you just 10 minutes of my life? Those friends will not be friends with you no more. Their perception of you will change. I don't care how long they've been knowing you. When they know that's who you were. It's amazing how I'm just saying this to encourage some of us who came from worse beginnings that some of us at a certain point in our lives we were ashamed to actually we're ashamed of our beginnings, and that's not bad. You know what I mean? Some of us, our beginning were not beginning that we created, was the beginning that we were born into, was the beginning that our parents created. They did not know better, so their family created that for them, and they created it for us. So we came from that beginning, from that place, and I would like to say it's humble beginnings, But a lot of us at the time did not see that as humble beginnings, because we see that as being as a worst place to ever be. But I would call that the worst place to ever be. It should be a humble beginnings. It should be a place where you emerge from that place that most people would never want to be. And for you, it was intended for you to be there, because what is ahead of you will always keep you humble, because you came from the humble beginnings. Not too many people came from a humble beginnings. So a lot of them became humble when they made it to wherever they were going. See, a lot of us, some of us came from humble beginnings. So when we flourishing and moving up the hills and moving up the ladder in life and we becoming successful, we are still humble because we came from humble beginnings. So don't tell me because your parents were poor means that, oh, that's the worst life you ever lived. I want you to see that as humble beginnings. You see, some of us pay our price, or our due price, or we pay our dues. I like to say our dues in life from the beginning that we were born. I mean, think about, going to school and barely having the decent clothes to wear. Think about going to school where you're around your peers and they got better clothes than you do. You're going to school that is within your zip code, and you wish that that school were never in your zip code because you don't look like the kids that go to that school with that zip code. Some of us, even though we have friends that we all grew up in the same neighborhood, they did not take us too seriously because of where we came from. We knew them, but because they were well off that we were, they did not have a respect for us. We know them by name, they know us, but we are now real friends, because they are a better place in life than we are. Have you imagined growing up in a community where it's certain sector of the community is so well off, where all the kids are well off, go to well off schools, and you having to be within that same community, but not really with the well off people? The well-off kids know you, you know them, but you want to get around them when they're all in the midst of other people who look like them, or if you guys all playing sports together, or if you got at an event together, that's when you see them. They know you, but they don't really hang with you because you are not within the bracket of that lifestyle that they live. Even though they know you, you know them, but they're not cool with you like that. You recall that point of period in your life to be like, the reason why he or she was not close or friends with me, or never chose to ever get to know me, or even came to my place because I'm poor. Well, I want you today to see that as a humble beginnings. Humble what? Beginnings. Humble beginnings. A lot of us condemn our humble beginnings. A lot of us try to erase our humble beginnings. A lot of us try to shy away from our humble beginnings. We don't want people to know that's where we came from. We don't want people to even have a clue that we came from nothing to something. All of us want to from the front. Then one time you start hearing good, great stories, or a lot of us start being bold enough to share our stories when we separate ourselves from our humble beginnings. Which I'm not saying that's bad, but what's about cherishing, loving your beginnings that you are in, being part of that beginnings that you are in. Regardless of whether people see you to be nothing. How about cherishing that? It's kind of hard because society have taught us that if you are not at this point in your life at a certain time, or if you were born into this family that is nothing, it means that you will eventually become nothing. So a lot of us don't even want to make known to people that we never had it coming up. When do you hear people say, I never had it coming up, when they become successful? I've been wondering, why didn't you share this story when you never had it when you were coming up? But because the reason why people didn't maybe share that, because they were hustling to get away from that, to be able to share that story one day with other people. And which of course is not bad. But sometimes we gotta be boastful of the humble beginnings that we find ourselves. Even some of us humble beginning may not be at a point as kids. Some of us may grow up in good homes where we had it all made, and then left that home, got on our own, and that's how we start experiencing our humble beginnings. It may be in our 20s, it could be in our 30s, it could be in our late 40s, and we start to see changes in our lives that we never had before or we never experienced before. But we should not shy away and tell someone, look, man, I'm struggling. But because you tell someone, look, man, I'm struggling, doesn't necessarily mean that you want to get away from that thing. You just making people to know that, look, man, I'm in this predicament right now. I'm in this situation right now. It's not always going to stay like that. But I'm proud of being in that because it's preparing me for something unknown. See, a lot of us don't want to tell people that we broke. We don't want to tell people that we don't have it. You know what I mean? We go to work, we try to cover and conceal because that's the society we are in. You gotta conceal your issues. You gotta cover up your issue. You gotta look like you're something else. You gotta look like you got it. If you're not looking like you got it, it means that nobody else will ever surround themselves with anyone who don't have it. But just imagine, wherever your humble beginning meets you, if we can cherish every bit of it, publicize it, instant book it, Instagram it, Facebook it, TikTok it. Oh man, it'll be amazing. You see, one thing I realize, and sometimes it's kind of hard for people to really comprehend it because the way I say it. You know, I would tell people I'll be homeless. And I live in a shelter, in the worst shelters in the United States. People say, well, all the pictures you posted, it didn't look like it. Well, it did look like it. It did look like it. You just didn't see it. I was saying it, but you don't believe it because you were equating what I was saying to the way that I look. I may not have looked homeless, raggedy on the street side corner, but I was homeless and I was making it known. But people did not recognize that. But I was appreciating every point that I was going through. I still make it known today. I still make it clear to people today that I've been homeless. But it doesn't resonate, it doesn't sing with a lot of people because it doesn't match the way I look. And that's why I tell people all the time, if we publicize our beginnings, you know, in life, where we falling off, where we have failed, or where we're struggling, or where we are eventually emerging to become someone, or where we seen the light down the tunnel, if we start to publicize those things and start to make it known for the world to hear it. Let me say again, one thing I've learned from lots of my mentors, when you start to speak out where you are, especially when you're in some dark times, some dark places, or when you came for nothing, absolutely nothing, and you start to make it known, not with the intent of complaining, but making it known that, you know, with that peace and joy and happiness in that place, situation changes, man. Look, you want to see true elevation is to be in a state of predicament, in a place where nobody know you, in a place where you're nothing, in a place where nobody want to even affiliate or socialize with you, in a place where nobody want to do business with you, in a place where nobody believe that you're going to be anything, in a place where nobody see anything in you. But you are bold enough, proud enough to publicize that to the world every single day. Pictures, Instagram, TikTok, picture, Instagram, TikTok, publicizing that every day. Let me tell you something. From that mindset of elevation in that condition, it transcends anything. You have brought light into darkness. And that's the reason why I tell people each and every day, look, enjoy your humble beginnings. Be flamboyant with your humble beginnings. Be explosive with your humble beginnings. Be the most fabulous you can be in your humble beginnings. Be the boss. Be the outstanding male or female in your humble beginnings, in a place where nobody recognizes you, but you recognize you. When you start to recognize you, that's where people recognize you. People don't pity your little beginnings. Don't downplay your little beginnings. Cherish your little beginnings, because your little beginnings will put you into greatest beginnings that you will never remember. You will wish one day, let me say again, I know some people say, oh, I wish never to go back. No, 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 no. You're not going to go back. But you will get to the place in life where you're successful. And you will just one day fall asleep or one day just look back and be like, man. Or if some of us who live in the same state and we left from just our brick house to our no house to some great house, and then one day you driving to work and you're like, you know what, let me take a turn on 8th Street. And when you're driving down 8th Street, you see that little raggedy house you live in. Man, our humble beginnings should never be ignored. Our humble beginning should never be downplayed. Our humble beginning should never be a beginning that we should be ashamed of or ashamed about. That's the first thing that we should introduce to people. Where we came from to where we are. If people can listen and pay attention to where you came from to be where you are, to be this person that people listen to, talk to, want to be around, want to love, want to hug, at the point that you never had that when you first came up, and now you got all the love, share that story with them. Share it. Smile with it, man. Love it. Because our humble beginnings are our greatest beginnings in life. I love you and God bless.